Okay, I'm going to go over a couple of these because in our notes we mainly talked about the x-axis and y-axis. And so one example I'm going to do from worksheet 1 is just number 1 right there. It says reflect across x equal -1. And so basically this would be a vertical line since it's x equal -1. And so what I do is I go to -1 and then just do a dashed line. And then from that, which is your line of reflection, you can either count over from the line of reflection and then count this way also for it to be equal. Or you could do it another way with the perpendicular bisector. But I think the easiest way is to just count over. Let's see, this ordered pair is -5, 4. -5, 4. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that means that we need to go 4 units. We're just checking. 1, 2, 3, 4 units over this way. So if we go 4 units left, then we've got to go 4 units right from our line of reflection, which is from x equal -1. And so when we go -1 plus 4, we get 3. And so we're going to get 3, 4. So 3, 4 is our ordered pair. So again, your goal is to do your dashed line and then figure out this distance from your line of reflection, and then it should be the same distance. It's not like it's across the y-axis where it'd be -5 for this one and +5 for this one, because it's just over to the side by 1. So that's one of the questions I wanted to go over. Another one is number 7 on the same worksheet, and then I guess I'll do the equivalent on worksheet 2. So number 7 is a really long question, and it's basically showing you this whole paragraph, and this is the work for it that they've already done. It says the following steps explain how to reflect point A across the line y equal x, which is this diagonal line. First, you want to draw a point through 5, 1, which is right there, that's perpendicular to y equal x. And so they've already done that. Basically, this is perpendicular to this one, so there's your right angle. So remember, when you're doing reflections to y equal x, it's not going to be like just up and down this way, it's going to be tilted. Okay, like this one is. And then they're saying from that point, you can try to figure out how to get to this spot by going 2 units left and then 2 units up. So that'd be, this actual point. And then they go 2 more units this way and 2 more units that way. It's kind of related to slope, but it's really just counting. They're saying go 2 units left, 2 up, and then 2 units left, 2 up. And then that's going to be where A prime is, which is that. And then they're already telling you the answer is 1, 5, which is where the dot already is. So that was all related to this one. Now it says draw the lines through B and C that are perpendicular to y equal x. Okay, so the first thing is what I'm going to do on my paper is just use a ruler and I want it to be perpendicular to this y equal x. And then I'm also going to want to do it through the C. And these make right angles because they're perpendicular. So that was the first thing. Draw the lines that are perpendicular, choose the correct graph. And so now that I put these two lines here, you can see it'd be the A graph, because these are a different direction and so forth. So that's going to be A. Then it's going to ask what is the slope of each line. So here's how we're going to figure that out. Y equal x has slope equal to 1. And so the perpendicular lines have slope -1, since it has to be opposite reciprocals. And so in other words, the slope of the first line would be -1, and the slope of the second line would also be -1. So remember, if the right side is down, you have negative slope, and both of those have slope -1. Then next it says reflect B and C across y equal x. So how you do this is switch x and y. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what the B coordinate is. And let's see, from the original graph, it's not 3,0, it's 4,0. So if B is 4, 0, then B prime would be 0, 4. So I don't really need to write it twice. But basically, you switch your x and y coordinates, and that's how you get it. And then your C, isn't that 4, -1? Yeah. This is at 4, -1, and so then your C prime would be at -1, 4. So again, switch x and y when you're reflecting across y equal x. And so then we've got to plot those points and then choose the correct graph. Okay, so for 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's this one. That does look reasonable, that it's on the same line, and this distance looks equal to that distance. And then -1, 4 was -1, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's right there, which would be on that line. And so this distance looks equal to that distance. Okay, so the graph that we want for that is, let's see. What I didn't do is connect my dots to make a triangle. So this triangle's facing down, this one's facing up, and so that'd be the D graph, because these are both down and those aren't it. So it's the D graph. And then the last part of this asks for a general equation, which they're saying is a conjecture or guess. about what are the coordinates when you reflect across y equal x. So if it's a comma b, then it would be b comma a. Okay, so those are my examples on worksheet 1. Now I need to do the same examples on worksheet 2. Okay, so this one said reflect across x equal -1, and so let me find that problem. This says x-axis. Okay, this one we're going to end up doing. Okay, this one's y equal -1. Okay, here's the equivalent. So basically, I see this says x equal -1, this says x equal -2, but these problems kind of go together. So what we would do on worksheet 2, on number 5, is draw our dashed line at -2. So this is x equal -2. And let's see, our original point looks like -6, comma, -5. Going left 6, down 5. So then you're going to count from here to here. 1, 2, 3, 4 units. You can also do it from getting the absolute value of -6 minus a -2, which is like the absolute value of -6 plus 2, which again we end up getting 4. I don't care if you do it this way or if you just do it from counting, but we know this distance is going to be 4, and so we need to go 4 units this way also. So then we need to go -2 plus 4, which gives you 2, and so then your answer is going to be 2 comma -5. 2 comma -5. Any questions on that one? Okay, so now let's go to that other one. Again, here's that whole paragraph, and they're telling you the point was 1, 5. And so my first step was draw the perpendicular line that goes through B and C. So basically I want parallel to this one. That's one way to do it. Just bring it over like this. Just make it look like it'd be a 90-degree angle. So again, that'd be the A graph. Then they want to know the slope of each line, and just like earlier, we knew that y equal x has slope 1, so these have -1. Since it's perpendicular. Then it says reflect B and C across the line, and what are the coordinates? So first we need to find the B coordinate, and in this case you get, I think that's 2, 0. And so if you have 2, 0, then it's going to be 0, 2. Because again, we switch x and y. Then we want to find the C coordinate, which is there, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Wait, right there. 3, negative 2. And so when we switch those, it'd be negative 2, comma 3. And from there, we want to choose the right graph. We've got to connect our dots and plot our points. So 0, 2 is this point, and negative 2, positive 3 is this point. Make our triangle. So the triangles are oriented like that, and so that's the D graph, because one of them's diagonal up and the other's diagonal down. And then the last step is make this B, comma A, because we're basically switching X and Y. Alright, so those are a few examples. You can use the rest of the period to work on your worksheet and your Math Excel.